Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I am currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I talked about the month of April and how my mental health was struggling. I was getting denied from London, and I just kept on seeing the number 37 constantly, right? So, in this episode, I am actually going to talk about the month of May. Now, I decided that I'm actually going to talk about the dreams I had in the month of May concerning Caitlin, Brandon, and Stephanie. And then later on, I would actually talk about everything else that happened in the month of May. So in this episode, I am going to strictly talk about the dreams I had concerning those three people. So here it goes. So in the month of May, I had three dreams. I'm going to start with the first one. The first one was actually Brandon. Okay, so we're going to start with Brandon. So in this dream, I was on Twitter. And Brandon was like a trending topic on Twitter. So I remember clicking on his name and I was seeing a bunch of tweets of people making fun of him for fathering a child that wasn't his, Lily. So people were tweeting like, hey, oh my goodness, he's a simp. He fathered a child that wasn't his. Ha 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 ha. There was one tweet in particular that the person tweeted making fun of Brandon, but they had a picture of him. It was a picture of Brandon and Lily. And the person who put out the tweet, they put the Michael Jordan crying emoji on Brandon's face. And I look at him, he's such a simp. He was fathering a child that wasn't his. So I'm looking at, these tweets in the dream. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're making fun of Brandon. Oh man, this is bad. The dream switches to me being at this like fitness center or so. I remember I was there because I was about to take a workout class. So I remember stepping into the building, going into the room where the class was in. I stepped into a room. It was a bunch of people there. Brandon was the instructor. And he was like, hey, come on in. And he was going to teach the class. That was the end of the dream. So in my head, I'm like, ooh, what does that dream mean, Lord? I understand the Twitter part. I just didn't understand the other part of Brandon teaching a fitness class. I didn't get that part. So here's the thing. Funny enough, y'all. Funny enough, I actually got the interpretation of that dream like last week. So later on in the story, I would interpret that dream of what that dream meant, right? So the second dream I had was actually Stephanie. So in this dream, it was me and my brothers. We flew to Arizona because my older brother had a friend in Arizona and we were out there to visit him. Now, here's the thing. In real life, my older brother doesn't have a friend in Arizona. But for some odd reason, he had one in the dream, and me and my brothers flew to Arizona to meet him and stay with him and to visit him, basically. So we get to Arizona. The guy picks us up from the airport, and we go to his place. He lived in a loft. He opens up his loft. Once he opened up his loft, I see Stephanie in the loft. And I was like, oh, in my head, I'm like, oh, Stephanie knows my brother's friend. What a coincidence. So we get into the loft. I say hello to Stephanie. Stephanie says hello to me. Y'all, she was super sweet in the dream. Super sweet. So we were talking, and as we were talking, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna ask her. So I said, I'm just gonna ask her. I don't care. So I said, Stephanie, what happened between you and Brandon? And this is what she says to me. She says, Brandon was being dishonest, and anytime I would ask him about Caitlin, he would get defensive. Those were her words verbatim. So I said, okay. So in my mind, I'm like, that kind of confirms that he cheated on Stephanie. So she starts talking to me about a relationship she got into after Brandon. She got into a relationship with a Christian guy in the dream. She got in a relationship with a Christian guy, and she was just talking on and on and on and on about it. And to be honest, I didn't care. I wanted to get some tea about Brandon. So she was just going on and on and on. I decided that, you know what, I'm just gonna cut her off. So I say to her, I said, hey, did Brandon cheat on you? That's when I woke up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I was about to get an answer. So when I woke up, I said to myself, I was like, okay, Brandon was dishonest to Stephanie, and anytime Stephanie asked him about Caitlyn, he got defensive. That is a clear sign that he cheated on Stephanie, you know? So, yeah, but here, y'all, in the dream, Stephanie was super sweet, super kind, and yeah. So, we're going to go into the third dream I had, and this was Caitlyn. So, in this dream, I was on Twitter. I was in my room on Twitter. I see a picture of Caitlyn. It's Caitlyn, Lily, a little girl, and two little boys. So altogether, four kids and Caitlyn. In the dream, I knew all those four kids were her kids. But there was no man in the picture. Like I said, it was Lily, those three other, little kids, and then Caitlyn. No man was in the picture at all. So I'm thinking to myself in a dream, like, why is Caitlyn posting a picture with, two little girls, one of them being Lily, and then two little boys, and it's just her, like, and she was smiling in the picture too. So I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What's going on? I wake up and I'm confused myself. I'm like, why am I having a dream that Caitlyn is taking a picture with Lily, another little girl, two little boys, and there's no man in the picture? Now, mind you, in real life, Brandon and Caitlyn had gotten back together. So how come Brandon wasn't in the picture? At the time, I didn't understand the dream. I got the interpretation, y'all, last week. And I was like, oh, now I know why I had that dream. And it was just so interesting to know that God was ministering to me during that time about Brandon and Caitlyn and Stephanie, um, while he was with her. So later on, y'all, in the story, I will talk about the meaning behind all three of those dreams. Okay. I feel like the Stephanie dream was kind of self explanatory. But the Brandon and Caitlyn dream, yeah, I just found out the meaning a week ago and it made sense. So later on in the month of May, I went through some things, y'all. I went through some things and I'm going to talk about that next episode. So if you are liking Unlikely Story, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Also, please click the notification bell as well. And until next time, y'all, bye.